Hi everybody, it's Julie with Whole Choice Living again today. I'm gonna go out to the garden today and pick some Swiss chard. So I wanted to show you what it looks like, what the benefits are, and how I'm gonna cook it. So let's go out to the garden. These are some raised beds that my husband built for me for my birthday. So exciting. Got lots of stuff growing here. Dill, kale, lots of different kinds of kale. And here's Swiss chard here. The majority of our stuff is growing in our back garden, but this is our new front garden closer to the house. So this is beautiful Swiss chard. It's rainbow Swiss chard. It comes in all different colors: yellow, white, red, pink, and it is full of phytonutrients and antioxidants, so it's great to fight inflammation and fight off free radical damage. It is loaded with nutrients, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later when I'm actually cooking it. So if you actually cut just part of the Swiss chard, it will actually continue to grow. So I'm going to cut like off the outer leaves here, and I'm going to leave this the little one in the center there. Sorry for my bad video skills. And then it's going to continue to grow, which is great because then you can consume it all season long. Okay, and you eat everything. You eat the stalk and the leaves, and you can eat it in several different ways. You can eat it raw, and you can eat it cooked. If you cook it though, I'll talk about this a little bit later too. If you cook it though, it has so many more nutrients. You get so many more things out of it. So this was one of our, when we ran our CSA, this was one of our clients' favorite things to eat. And it is so simple. Sorry, normally I don't do this one-handed. So simple to cook. So this is our Swiss chard. And meet me in the kitchen. I'll see you soon. Okay, hi everybody. I'm in the kitchen now. We cut up our Swiss chard from the garden and brought it inside. I washed it up, and I'm gonna actually prepare this recipe in the Swiss chard in two different ways. So remember, you can actually have Swiss chard raw, or you could have it cooked. And remember, there you can get more nutrients out of it when you cook it. But if you were just to chop up the Swiss chard and put it in a saute pan and cook it up, your leaf is going to get kind of slimy. Well, the stem is going to take longer to cook. So when I cook it, I would suggest that you cut it here at the stem and cook it two different ways, or at two different times. So the stem is really kind of like a celery, so it takes a little bit longer, okay? And then you're gonna cut up your leafy green part, and you're gonna add that at the end if you're gonna cook the whole thing, right? You cook that at the end, like you would a spinach, right? Because it doesn't take long for the leaf part to grow, or to cook. It all grows at the same time. Anyway, so for this recipe, I'm gonna cut off the stems, and we're going to cook up the stems and saute them with some onions, garlic, in some avocado oil, salt and pepper, and then at the end we're going to add some nuts to it. The recipe technically calls for walnuts, but I didn't have walnuts, so I am using pecans. So it's going to have a little bit different flavor complex. It's going to be a little bit sweeter because pecans are sweeter, but don't be afraid to like mix up your ingredients. So if it calls for nuts and you don't have the exact nut, use something else. One other tip I want to show you, tell you about nuts. So this happens to be a large bag from Costco. You know, and how fast you really go through all these, right? So the best place to keep nuts is in the freezer. So I just pull the bag out and just use what I'm going to use for that recipe, and I put them back in the freezer. It keeps the volatile oils in the nuts you know, consistent, and then they won't go rancid, so they won't go bad if you're not going to use them quickly. Okay, so in this recipe, like I said, I'm going to cook up the Swiss chard stems, and then the rest of it is going to be cut up in, kind of cut up the leaves, and I'm going to add it to some spinach because I don't really technically have enough Swiss chard here for the recipe I'm going to make. So my husband picked this beautiful spinach from our garden. It's been a fabulous year for spinach, so I'm going to add it, the Swiss chard, to the spinach, and it's got cold salad. Okay, so let's get that going. Cut off the stems. Okay, and I'm going to just chop those up. Into bite-sized pieces. And you'll see that in a minute. And we're going to add it to the pan and saute that up. After you have all your ingredients in the pan, you're just going to stir and saute them over medium heat. Then you're going to stack your Swiss chard leaves on top of each other. I do this for other lettuces too, and it makes it really easy to cut them all at once and then into bite-sized pieces. So I stack and then I roll and I cut them into strips. Just a little tip there. So remember, there's a difference between cooked Swiss chard and raw Swiss chard. The nutrients are so much higher when you cook them. And in this salad, I know I'm not cooking them, but you're still going to get great source of fiber, vitamin K, vitamin A, C, magnesium, iron, and potassium. These are all great. Remember that it's a high antioxidant food, so it's good for heart health, cancer prevention, and it is a good carb for maintaining your blood sugar. It's anti-inflammatory as well. So just to get an idea of the difference between a cooked Swiss chard and a raw Swiss chard, if you look at the fiber content in raw Swiss chard is 0.6 grams. And if you cook it, it goes up to a 3.7 grams. That's a huge difference. So when you're cooking your nuts, you want to make sure you don't overcook them. So you just want to cook them until they brown slightly, and then you can start to smell them. That's really kind of what you're looking for, okay? Because if you cook them too much, they're going to destroy the volatile oils in the nuts. This is a very simple dressing. It's just lemon juice and apple cider vinegar. So simple. You're going to drizzle it over the top. Before you put the nuts on too, you're going to want to make sure you let them cool just a little bit. And it's okay if you put them on when they're hot. As you can see, it's steaming a little bit here. But if you put them on when they're too hot, it will wilt your greens. Okay, here we go. There we have it. We have our Swiss chard and nut salad. It's going to be delicious. If you could smell it, the garlic and the rosemary and the onion, oh, and it just smells delicious. So we're going to enjoy this for dinner, and I hope you enjoy it too. So I apologize here for the very last part of the video. I have to hold my phone because as I was recording, switching from my intro to my cooking lesson, my phone holder thing here broke and fell over, and it crashed on the floor. So now we have this more amateur video. So sorry about that, but I hope you enjoy the recipe. It will all be linked down there, and you'll be able to follow along with the video. And I hope you learned something new. Enjoy. See you soon.